Good day, Ma'am Jenny. My name is Ken Francis Ampon, and today I'm going to present my prototype of my system. Library Reserve, an online book borrowing and reservation system for my University of Mindanao Library. So, Library Reserve's purpose is to replace the manual, in-person library process of the University of Mindanao with a desktop-based system that provides accurate, real-time book availability and self-service reservations for students. The target users of my system is the students. Any student who needs to search, reserve, and borrow library materials without having to physically visit the library just to check the book's availability. My system is a desktop application, so the main objective of my system are to provide digitalized self-service book reservation, a real-time availability monitoring system, and to be able to track the status of each loan and reservation. Also, to reduce unnecessary physical visits to the library, improve the accuracy of booking records, and enhance the overall library experience for students. So as for the context background, the University of Mindanao Library currently relies on hybrid manual system. Students must physically visit the library to check if a book is available through a static OPAC that does not reflect real-time shock. Reservations are made through paper forms or in-person requests. Overdue reminders are sent through paper-based notice with no reliable digital notification. This especially affects students with demanding academic schedules, part-time learners, and those who have difficulty visiting the library in person. For the solution, Library Reserves provide real-time book availability monitoring with an app notification and self-service reservation, featuring a clean student-focused interface with accessibility options. The system combines comprehensive borrowing management with a user-friendly design suitable for all students regardless of all levels of technology experience. So let's proceed to presenting my prototype. So the student is first presented with the login page. Here, the student needs to input their email address and password. If the credentials are wrong, the system shows an alert, invalid email or password. So when the student enters the correct credentials and clicks sign in, they are logged in successfully and directed to the main dashboard. So here we are now on the student dashboard. As we can see here, there is a sidebar on the left side where the student can navigate to different parts of system. The book catalog, my reservations, my loan, and notification and settings. We can maximize the sidebar to see the full labels of each button and then minimize it again to give more space to the main content. Now, on the dashboard itself, we can see student active reservations and loan summaries at a glance. Below is the book catalog, the full list of available books along with their real-time availability status. In this dashboard interface, I applied visual hierarchy by placing the student's active loans and reservation at the top of the most immediately relevant information. The color-coded availability badges, green for available, orange for on hold, and red for checkout, allows the student to immediately determine if a book is accessible without reading through every detail. This reduces cognitive load and makes the browsing task fast and efficient, especially for students under academic time pressure. I also applied recognition rather than recall here. The search filters for title, author, genre, and ISBN are always visible on the screen. The student never has to remember how to search or where to find the filter options. The system surfaces the most relevant information immediately so the student can act without having to recall procedures from memory. Now, here we also have the settings for the accessibility options. Here we can enable dark mode, as you can see here. The entire interface has shifted to dark theme. You can also adjust the text size, so the student can choose between small, large, and medium depending on what is most comfortable for them. And then we can go back to the default settings. So my persona, Juan, is a student who sometimes uses the system late at night or in low light study environment. My evaluators also noted contrast and readability as areas for improvement. During the UI design evaluation, to address this, I implemented a dark mode toggle when enabled. The entire interface shifts to a dark palette which reduces eye strain during extended use and improves comfort for students using the application in dim environment. I also provided three text size options, which is the small, medium, large, so students can adjust the interface to a reading size that is comfortable for them. In this part, I achieved three course outcomes to develop the prototype interfaces that consider users with accessibility needs. Now let's proceed to making a reservation. So when the student clicks on a book, when a student clicks on a book in the catalog, they are taken to the book details page where they can see the book's full information, the book's title, book's author, ISBN code, genre, and the current availability status. At the bottom, there is a reserve book or submit a reservation to reserve a book. Here, I applied match between system and the real world here by using familiar library terminology through reserve, due date, renew, and checkout. And these are terms that all students already understand from their physical library experience. The reservation flow also mirrors the natural real-world process. Find the book, check if it's available, confirm the reservation. This mirrors exactly how a student would physically approach the circulation desk. And here, I also applied user control and freedom on the reservation confirmation screen. So the student has a cancel button before the final submission, so they can exit without committing. Active reservation can also be canceled by the student within an allowed time frame from their My Reservation page. This was a direct improvement from my first design alternative, which received lower scores for user controls because it had no easy cancellation options once our reservation was initiated. And here, the student is presented with a success green screen which displays a green check mark, a reservation confirmed message, and a summary card of showing the book title, author, pickup deadline, and the student's name. From here, the student can go back to the catalog or view their active reservation on their dashboard. So this success screen is a direct application of visibility of system status. The system explicitly confirms that the reservation was recorded and shows a summary of what submitted. This is especially important for students who are used to receiving a physical slip as confirmation. The system gives them the same sense of certainty, just digitally. An in-app notification is also generated immediately after, so the student has a record so they can refer back to. Now here we have the notification. All the system notifications are delivered here. The reservation confirmations, due date, reminders, and overdue alerts. The students can also see their notification in one place and mark them as read. The notification feature is another application of visibility of system status. Rather than requiring the students to check each section of the system manually, The notification center proactively surfaces time-sensitive information like an upcoming due date or pickup deadline directly to the student. This keeps the student informed at all times and reduces the chance of missing important library deadlines. Now here's my loan page. The student can see all of their currently borrowed books along with the due dates and renewal options. If a book is approaching its due date, it is highlighted so the student can take actions. The student can click renew to extend the loan period directly from the screen. And I applied recognition rather than recall on my loans page by surfacing the due date and renewal status of every loan directly on the screen. The student does not have to remember when they borrowed a book or whether it is due. The information is always visible and clearly labeled. Loans that are approaching their due date are highlighted so the student can immediately see what needs attention. And finally, here we also have our emerging technology feature, the AI chatbot assistant. There is a chatbot icon on every page. When the student clicks it, a chat panel is open on the side. The student can then type a question or a request. For example, find books about data structures, when is my due of book, or how do I renew my loan. And the chatbot will analyze the input and generate a helpful response. Here, I integrated an AR-powered chatbot assistant as an emerging technology for UM Library Reserve. The chatbot serves as an always available support tool for students who have questions about the system or need help finding library materials. Rather than requiring the students to navigate through multiple pages to find information, they can simply ask the chatbot directly and receive an immediate answer. This is especially helpful for first-time users like my persona who may be unfamiliar with the system and needs quick guidance without having to visit the library in person. The chatbot reduces the friction of learning a new system and makes the overall experience smoother for all students. For the functionality evaluation, core features such as real-time book availability display, book reservation, and loan and renewal management all receive a perfect 7 out of 7 passing rating. 3 items receive a 6 out of 7, login and authentication, book search and filtering, and in-app notifications. The evaluator who flagged this noted a minor UI flow issue in this login screen, filter behavior that was slightly unclear, and notification display delay. These are minor issues that will be addressed in the next iteration. For the usability evaluation, based on Nielsen's heuristic, most heuristics scored 0, meaning no usability problems was identified. Visibility of system status, user controls and freedom, and recognition rather than recall were all rated positively. The areas that received minor problem scores were error prevention and flexibility and efficiency of use, which scores between 1 and 2 from a small number of evaluators. I addressed error prevention by implementing required field validation and real-time inline. I address flexibility and efficiency by providing quick access shortcuts for frequent students' action on the dashboard. For the UI and flow evaluations, the area noted for minor improvements were readability under different lighting conditions and text size comfort for extended reading session. This finding directly led to dark mode toggle and the text size adjustment feature I implemented in the system. For course outcomes, understanding the applying HCI principle in design, I applied all 10 Nielsen's usability heuristic as a framework for every decision I made. The real-time availability badges demonstrate visibility of system status. The use of familiar library terminology like reserve and due date shows match between system and the real world. The reservation cancellation option shows user control and freedom, and the evaluation results with the majority of heuristics scoring 0 provide direct evidence that these principles were successfully embedded in the design. and conducting user research and applying it to design. Every decision in UM Library Reserves traces directly back to my research. The persona of the persona Juan guided the self-service reservation flow, the desktop layout, the dark mode feature, and the AI chatbot. The task analysis of the reservation workflow shaped the step-by-step confirmation structure, and the analysis of existing system like Koha and Library Cal confirm the specific gaps that this system fills for student. For course outcome 3, developing prototype interfaces that consider users with accessibility needs, which I have provided in this design a dark mode toggle and a text size adjustment with 3 levels. This feature directly addresses the needs of students who use the system in low light environment or who need larger text for comfortable extended reading on desktop screen. In this part, I achieved by addressing visual and readability accessibility needs for the student user base of the system. Now, for my learnings, I learned the value of creating accessible error-resistant interface and leveraging an iterative design framework. Seeing the evaluation scores come in, even the ones that pointed out problems, gave me exactly the direction I need to make the design genuinely better. I also learned that the user-centered design is not just a concept, it means going back to your persona at very single design decision. When I choose the desktop layout, when I added dark mode, when I built the AI chatbot feature, all of it came from understandings one needs as a student and from the feedback of the evaluators. Continuous user feedback is what makes the difference between a system that works and a system that students usually want to use. And that's all for my presentation. Thank you very much.